Before he was an actor, Tab Hunter was a stable boy, with no connections and no ambition to be famous. Within 5 years, he was one of the biggest teen idols in America, and almost none of it was real. In the mid-1950s, Hollywood studios were still building stars the old-fashioned way, by manufacturing them. When agent Henry Wilson discovered Arthur Gallion, he didn't just see a handsome young man. He saw a product. Arthur Gallion became Tab Hunter. The name was clean, masculine, marketable. Warner Brothers signed him, placed him in carefully selected roles, and promoted him as the all-American dream. Tall, blonde, athletic, polite. Fan magazines called him the perfect boyfriend. Teenage girls flooded him with mail, thousands of letters a week. He starred in films like Battle Cry and Damn Yankees. He recorded a hit song, Young Love, which reached #1 on the Billboard charts in 1957. By the age of 25, Tab Hunter was everywhere, but there was something the studio was carefully protecting. Tab Hunter was gay. In 1950s Hollywood, that fact could destroy a career overnight. Morality clauses were written into contracts. Gossip columnists held enormous power. Exposure meant unemployment, sometimes permanent. Hunter knew this. So did his agent. So did the studio. The illusion had to be maintained. Public dates with actresses were arranged. Interviews were controlled. His private life became a performance as carefully staged as his films. Then, in 1955, the illusion cracked. In 1950, before he became famous, Hunter had been arrested at what police described as a party attended by several men. At the time, such gatherings were frequently targeted by vice squads. The charge listed in newspapers was disorderly conduct, a vague label often used in cases involving same-sex activity. The incident did not initially make national headlines, but in 1955, at the height of his fame, a Scandal magazine threatened to publish the arrest. If the story broke in the wrong way, it could destroy his carefully constructed image. Warner Brothers moved quickly. They arranged counterpress, reframed the narrative, and leaned into his wholesome persona. His popularity actually increased after the story surfaced, in part because the studio machine knew how to redirect attention. But the message was clear. His career depended on silence. For years, Hunter lived between two worlds, public idol and private truth. He formed meaningful relationships, including a long partnership with figure skater Ronnie Robertson and later with producer Alan Glazer. Yet professionally, he remained boxed in by the very image that made him famous. As the 1960s arrived, teen idol culture shifted. Rock music changed. Film tastes darkened. Hunter's popularity faded. Unlike some of his peers, however, he survived the transition. He moved into theater. Independent films, European projects. He slowly rebuilt his career without the studio machinery controlling him. Then, something remarkable happened. In 2005, at the age of 74, Tab Hunter published his memoir, Tab Hunter Confidential. In it, he openly discussed his sexuality and the pressure of living closeted in mid-century Hollywood. There was no scandal, no career destruction. Instead, there was admiration. The industry that once required silence now praised his honesty. A documentary followed. Younger audiences discovered him again, not as a manufactured idol, but as a man who endured an era that demanded denial. What makes Tab Hunter's story different from so many of his contemporaries is not just secrecy, it is survival. Many others saw their careers collapse when rumors surfaced. Tab Hunter lived long enough to tell the story himself. He outlasted the studio system that created him. He outlasted the gossip columnists who once held power over him, and in the end, he reclaimed the narrative. The boy who had been renamed, repackaged, and reshaped by Hollywood died in 2018 at the age of 86, peacefully, openly, and on his own terms. For years, America thought it knew Tab Hunter. It knew the smile, it knew the songs, it knew the fantasy. But the real story was quieter and far more resilient